and we are live. Good evening po sa inyong lahat mga kagro. And of course, welcome back to Gurong Pinoy. And of course, we would like to welcome especially all the members of Team Skinner, our Let September 24, 2023 Let Takers. And of course, your online application will be open by June 23rd until August 24th. Your target release of results will be on December 7th. So again, good evening po sa lahat ng members ng Team Skinner. These are the members who have answered our quizzes, have answered our diagnostic test, and of course, they can watch the full-length video and also they can download our PDF. Okay, so again, if you are still not a member of Team Skinner, po pwede na po magpa-member. Our GCash is up again. No? So send us a message through our Facebook page. If you're watching us on Facebook right now, just send a message through this Facebook page, and of course, you can pay your membership through GCash. Now, let September 24, 2023 full online majorship schedule can be seen on your screen. We will be starting this weekend. So this weekend po, Saturday orientation. Then, of course, diagnostic test on May 14th. Then we'll have the discussion. Then mid-review. Then, of course, we'll have the discussion. Mid-review will be by June. No? Then pre-board po tayo by August. And, of course, your final coaching schedule can also be seen on the screen. Final recap will be on September 16th till 17th. That's the weekend prior to your licensure exam for teachers. So again, we have our major shift for English, Math, Filipino, Gen Sci, Soc Sci, MAPE, Values Education, and TLE AFA. So again, just send a message to our Facebook page if you'd want to become a member of, it might be our major or it might be Team Skinner. Team Skinner is Gen Ed and Prof Ed. All right, now again, for you to be inspired, we are offering our monetary prizes. That's September 2023 top 3 would be receiving 100,000 pesos. Top 2 would be receiving 200,000 pesos. And of course, rank 1 or top 1 would be receiving 300,000 pesos. That is if you are a member of Team Skinner. All right, now tonight's discussion is centered on Prof Ed, Professional Education po tayo. Again, please do not forget to like, love, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends. Again, show us your support by sending us stars on Facebook, then super chat, super stickers naman po sa ating YouTube channel. Good evening sa inyong lahat. Ganon din po sa ating mga team Bruner, no? Yung mga naghihintay ng kanilang results very, very soon. Ma'am Eliza or Elisa Latuit from Thailand, good evening po. From Dubai, Ma'am Lizelle Blanca Flor, good evening po. All right, so again, let's all start with our opening prayer. Samahan niyo po ako mga kaguro. Dear Lord, I come to you to ask for your guidance and direction in this study session. I ask that the Holy Spirit fill me with strength, creativity, and understanding to get through my studies without difficulty or sin. Help me hold my focus and attention. Help me to retain all that I learned. Please make my mind sharp and keep distractions at bay. If any part of my studying is weak or lacking in some way, let it be revealed so that I may correct it. Thank you for this opportunity to learn. Amen. All right, this is Prof Ed. Like, love, share our video. Start a watch party. Let's start with question number 1. Number 1, which domain of PPST explains that teachers should know how to align learning outcomes with learning competencies? Would it be letter A, personal and professional development? Letter B, assessing and reporting? Letter C, curriculum? Or letter D, content, knowledge, and pedagogy? What is our choice for number 1? Please be interactive. And of course, please do not forget the item number when you're answering. Sir G. Maco says 1C. Sir G. in Almadovar, 1C. A lot of you, I can only see your names as Facebook user. You did not allow StreamYard if you're a member of Team Skinner. Kada po post natin ang ating link for StreamYard, there is a link below, no? So, i-click nyo po yan so that you allow StreamYard and so that I can see your names. Ma'am Irene Jovita, 1C. Now, a lot of you are saying 1C, but before we go to our correct choice, now these are the 7 different domains of your PPST. So the first one is content, knowledge, and pedagogy. Second one, learning environment. Number 3, diversity of learners. Number 4, curriculum and planning. Number 5, assessment and reporting. Number 6, community linkages and professional engagement. And number 7, personal growth and professional development. The last time that we've talked about Prof Ed, na pag-usapan po natin yung NCBTS. As you can see, your domains in the PPST are very similar to the domains in your NCBTS because of course, ang PPST po, Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, ito po yung mas pinaigting na NCBTS. So modern day NCBTS kumbaga. So their domains are very similar. Let's take a look at the different domains in depth. Okay, domain number one, content knowledge and pedagogy. Content knowledge and its application within and across curriculum areas. Research-based knowledge, not only knowledge, but also the different principles of teaching and learning. The use of your ICT. Okay, so ICT, very important. Number 4, what are the strategies that you can use to promote literacy and numeracy? Number 5, strategies for critical and creative thinking, as well as the HOTS or your higher order thinking skills. Number 6, mother tongue, Filipino, and English in teaching and learning. And number 7, classroom communication strategy. So as I've always mentioned, as I've always been saying, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of guts. And of course, it takes a lot of talent to be a very effective teacher. No? Kasi ang daming demands galing sa atin. No? So domain 1 pa lang po yan, ang dami-dami na content knowledge. Dapat master ka ng knowledge mo, ng principles of teaching, the use of ICT, how would you promote literacy and numeracy, your HOTS, higher order thinking skills, creative thinking, critical thinking, the different languages, mother tongue, English, Filipino, and of course, the different communication strategies. So that's just domain number 1. Domain number 2, the learning environment. We should keep our students safe and secure in our classroom. Safety and security, fair, inclusive. No, you should know how to manage your classroom. You should support learners' participation. You should promote purposive learning. And of course, classroom management, as I've mentioned, learner behavior should be managed inside your classroom. Domain number 3, diversity of learners. You should be inclusive. As I've mentioned kanina, no, inclusivity is very important. You should cater not only to the fast learners, but also to the slow learners, even to those with special needs. And you should be aware, you should be conscious of the different backgrounds of your students. So gender, their needs, their strengths, interests, their experiences, their socioeconomic and religious backgrounds, disabilities, giftedness, talents, the different or the difficult circumstances that they are facing, then of course, whether your students are coming from indigenous groups or not, okay? So diversity of learners. And so the implication of this, of course, is that dapat iba-iba yung atake mo inside the classroom, no? Hindi lamang isang hulma because of course, your students are all different. All right, domain number 4, ito yung ating sinasabi niyong sagot, no? Curriculum and planning and management of teaching and learning process, learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies. Ito yung ating hinahanap na yung second indicator. Relevance and responsiveness of learning programs, professional collaboration, then of course teaching and learning resources, including ICT. Now, domain number 5, assessment and reporting. You should know which assessment strategies to use. You should monitor and evaluate the progress of your learners. You should give feedback so that your learners would improve. You should communicate with your learners and other key stakeholders. Then, of course, you should use assessment data to enhance your learning practices and programs. Then, of course, you have domain number 6, community linkages and professional engagement. We already have the PTCA right now, no? Hindi na alone yung action ng ating schools, okay? So, you should have learning environments that are responsive to the different contexts of your community. Kung anong pinagdadaanan, kung anong experience ng inyong community, your learning environment should be responsive to that, okay? Engagement of parents and wider school community, You should have professional ethics. Then, of course, you should follow the school policies and procedures. And lastly, domain number 7, you should have your own philosophy of teaching. Remember, when you say philosophy in the field of teaching, what is your driving force? What is your guide in teaching? What is your school of thought? Now, what ism drives you and what ism influences you in teaching? You should uphold the teaching profession, or you should think of teaching as something that is of high dignity or of dignity. Professional links with colleagues, professional reflection, and of course, you should be attending your continuing professional development programs. So CPD is professional development goals. All right. But then again, going back to your question, should know how to align learning outcomes with learning competencies. The correct choice, of course, is letter C. That's the curriculum. We've seen this as part of your domain number 4, indicator number 2. The teacher should know how to align learning outcomes with learning competencies. So letter C is tumpak for question number 1. Ma'am Nina Berose, good evening po. All right, number 2, this is still about your PPST. Which one expects that teachers should be knowledgeable of using ICT positively? Would it be letter A, content knowledge and pedagogy? Letter B, personal and professional development? Letter C, diversity of learners? Or letter D, learning environment? Okay, I see a lot of letter A. Sabi ni Sir Francisco Rosales, letter A. Ma'am Romely Persingkula, letter A. Ma'am Cheng or Sir Cheng Supilanas, letter A. Okay, letter A. Karamihang choice niyo is letter A, and that will be correct. Okay, we've seen this in the different domains that we have just discussed. No? So ICT would be part of domain number 1. That's content knowledge and pedagogy. Let's move on with question number 3. Which of the following career stages is exemplified by those who have reached an acceptable standard for all teachers? Would it be letter A, beginning, letter B, proficient, letter C, highly proficient, or letter D, distinguished? This would still be part of your PPST, no? The different career stages of teachers under the PPST. All right, I see a lot of letter D's. Tama kaya ang letter D? Acceptable standard for all teachers. Acceptable. Okay, that is what we are looking for. If a teacher has reached an acceptable standard, then which career stage would we find that teacher in? Okay, before we get to our correct choice, so these are the 4 different career stages under your PPST. The first one is beginning, then you have proficient, highly proficient, and distinguished. When you say beginning, from the term itself, no, gain qualifications lamang. Qualified lang siya to teach. She is or he is a LET passer. Right now, no, required na dapat may masteral, no? So may masters, LET passer, and of course, nakapasa, no, sa screening ng DepEd. Number 2, proficient. This teacher is independently applying already the teaching principles and strategies. No? So kahit na walang tulong sa iba, kaya mo nang i-apply yung mga teaching principles and strategies. So usually, you've reached this stage at around 2 to 3 years, so 4 years of teaching. Then highly proficient, this teacher consistently display a high level of performance, okay? High level of performance. They mentor colleagues and work collegially with other staff, no? So this type of teacher, highly proficient, nakakapag-mentor ka na, no? So meron ka ng mentees, meron ka ng ibang tinutulungan. And distinguished, of course, these are the teachers who embody the highest standards of teaching. No? They are already global teachers. They promote quality teaching and learning. Kumbaga, ito yung mga master teachers mo na, ito yung may mga awards na teachers. Okay? Now, if medyo blurry pa rin, no, ito pa po yung iba nating explanation. Beginning teacher, career stage 1, have gained qualifications for entry. Teachers at this stage are supported to reach career stage 2. No? So eventually, these teachers in beginning teachers or career stage 1, these are the mentees of the mentors at tinutulungan silang makapunta sa career stage 2. Now, proficient teachers, career stage 2, these are professionally independent in the application of skills. This stage shows the acceptable standards for all teachers, and you should reach this within the first 2 or 3 years of teaching. Then, of course, highly proficient teachers consistently display a high level of performance. They're already accomplished practitioners, and they can already become mentors. They can already work collegially, and so dito nas master teachers. Now, even your master teachers can be highly proficient or even distinguished. Then, of course, distinguished, they embody the highest standards. They're recognized as leaders in education. Okay? So, going back to your question, who have reached an acceptable standard for all teachers, beginning, proficient, highly proficient, or distinguished? The correct choice is proficient. Letter B is what we are looking for. Congratulations, Ma'am LV Recoco, tumpak the nerd. Sabi ni Ma'am, nung karamihan ligwakers. Okay lang po yan, move on kaagad. Okay, number 3, letter B is tumpak. Number 4, Marga, a 6-year-old, always asks her playmates to sit in front of her small blackboard, and she plays teacher. Her mother is a teacher. What theory explains Marga's behavior? Letter A, classical conditioning. Letter B, operant conditioning. Letter C, social learning. Or letter D, information processing. Okay, so si Marga ay anak ng isang guro at palagi siyang nagpe-play teacher, no? Nagkukunwari na siya isang guro, and of course she would ask her playmates to sit in front of her small blackboard. So what type of theory explains Marga's behavior? Ito basic, no? Napaka-basic na nito. What type of theory is shown here? The correct choice, of course, is letter C. Social learning, di ba? This is your social learning theory, learning by imitation and observation. Okay, so this right here is your social learning theory, behavioral theory that posits that new behaviors can be learned by observing and imitating others. Okay, so this right here are the different steps, no, sa ating social learning theory. First, you observe. Okay, so a stimulus is given, and the child would observe. Now, this can be in real time. It might be done through reflection, predictive, or imagine. Po pwede. Next, you have internalization. No? So, internalization muna. Imitation, I mean, some form of imitation of that behavior in part or its entirety occurs. This reproduction deepens internalization and elicits evaluation by your imitator. Okay, so you have observation, then you internalize it, then you try to imitate. Then, of course, lastly, you have feedback loop. Ongoing motivation is decided by reflection and perceived relative success. So paulit-ulit na, no, ginagawa mo na siya, paulit-ulit, all right? And so the correct choice again would be social learning theory. Now, what about the rest of your choices? Classical conditioning, of course, was by Ivan Pavlov. Operant conditioning was by B.F. Skinner. Yung classical conditioning mo, there is an association of an involuntary response and a stimulus. The stimulus here may be conditioned, no? So hindi siya totoong stimulus. Of course, when you say stimulus, it is something that would elicit a response. Anything that would make you react, that is a stimulus. Stimulus is singular. Stimuli, of course, is plural, no? So, sa classical conditioning, kumbaga, merong isang stimulus na hindi natural stimulus. And yung ginawa ni Pavlov, pinair niya yung natural stimulus, which was the dog, with the conditioned stimulus na bell, no, or pito. And so every time that he would give food to the dog, he would also ring the bell or he would also use the whistle. And so eventually, the dog was able to associate, no, na-associate ng aso yung involuntary response niya sa kanyang stimulus. So now, kahit na i-ring lamang ni Pavlov yung bell or i-blow yung whistle, kahit walang food, naglalaway na yung aso. Okay? So that's classical conditioning. Hint, no? Very big hint. When you see questions in your LET about phobia, trauma, fear, your answer will be classical conditioning. Okay? Now, operant conditioning, on the other hand, you have the association of a voluntary behavior and a consequence. Now, so yung pinaka-hint po naman regarding operant conditioning is reward and punishment. Feedback, okay? So reinforcement, your computer-aided instruction, that's also under operant conditioning, under, of course, B.F. Skinner, okay? Sino si Beauty? All right. All right, so the correct choice again there would be social learning theory. Now, what about the other theory? No, the last theory that we had as our choice D, was information processing model. Ito naman yung information processing model, no? So, sensory input. Una, no, there is going to be an input when you use the different senses that you have. Then you have what you call your sensory memory. Memory lamang sa inyong senses, no? Kapag hindi ka nakapagbigay ng atensyon, you unattended, no? You did not attend to this information, then this information is going to get lost. It's you will not be able to remember something or someone, no? Kaya kung hindi siya tumatak sa inyong senses, hindi siya ganun kapogi, for example, hindi siya ganun kaganda, mabilis mo siyang makalimutan, di ba? Kasi hindi ka nagbigay ng atensyon, hindi niya nakuha yung inyong atensyon, all right? Now, once you give attention, no, kapag ka naman nagbigay ka ng attention, it goes to your short-term memory. And kapag ka nasa short-term memory mo na po, dapat mini-maintain mo siya by rehearsing. No? Dapat pa ulit-ulit mini-memorize mo siya. Sabi nga nila, kung gusto mong wag makalimutan ng isang word, you have to use it or you have to say it 50 times, no, para pa ulit-ulit. So you have to rehearse. Okay, so unrehearsed information, kapag hindi mo pinractice, kapag ka hindi mo ni-rehearse, then it's also going to be lost. No? Hindi siya matatransfer sa inyong long-term memory. Then of course, if you use rehearsal na paulit-ulit pinapractice mo siya, inuulit-ulit mo, kinakabisado mo, that is what you call encoding. Eventually, that information is going to be stored in your long-term memory. Okay, so long-term memory. Some information might still be lost over time, especially kapag medyo thunders na tayo, merong mga impormasyon na ating pong nakakalimutan. But there's also some information that we might remember, and the process of remembering is called retrieval. Okay, so retrieval. This here is information processing model, no? So paunti-unti naaalala natin yung isang bagay paunti-unti, no? So we store information in our brain little by little, gradually. Yan po yung sinasabi ng inyong information processing model. But then again, yung hinahanap po natin was social learning theory. Okay? We go to number 5. After just being introduced to another guest in the party, Tom cannot remember the name of the guest he was introduced to. In what memory stage was the information stored in? Okay, chika lang natin about dito, no? So would it be episodic memory, semantic memory, sensory memory, or working memory? What is our choice for number 5? Mm-hmm. Okay, number 5, ICCs. Okay, and that of course would be the right choice. Ang sensory memory, we've talked about this a while ago. Hindi natin napag-usapan yung ibang terms dito, no? And so let's try to define all these terms. When you say episodic memory, this is the conscious memory of a previous experience. Kapag hindi mo maalala yung isang tao and then someone would tell you the context, no, kung paano kayo nag-meet. Nag-meet tayo sa ganito, no? Kinausap kita, pinakilala nakakilala tayo nito. Okay, so that's episodic memory. Ano yung episode? Ano yung previous experience, no? So you try to remember a previous experience. That's episodic memory. Semantic memory, when you hear of the term semantic, of course, this pertains to meaning. And so this is a recollection of a word, concept, or number. You're trying to remember what a word is or what a word means, the concept, the number. Okay, so that's semantic memory. Working memory, on the other hand, this pertains to a small amount of information that can be held in mind and used in the execution of cognitive tasks. No? So you're trying to hold it in your mind until you are able to complete a task using your brain. No? So kunwari, ito, you're trying to store everything in your mind right now in your working memory, lahat ng isms, lahat ng theories, lahat ng theorists, lahat ng information, no? Lahat ng trivial questions or trivial answers sa inyong general education. Would be part of your working memory. Hindi naman ito long-term memory kasi eventually kapag tumanda ka or maybe after you pass the board, I don't think you would be able to remember all this. No? So working memory lang siya. You're trying to store all this information because you want to finish a certain task. You want to attain the license. No? Pagkatapos ng licensure exam for teachers, I'm pretty sure na susunugin. Ihahagis nyo na lahat ng mga metaplak nyo, lahat ng mga na-memorize nyo, hindi nyo na maalala. Okay? So, it's kind of like cramming. No? So, that's your working memory. All right? But we were looking for letter C for number 5. We go to question number 6. Alvin feels that his teacher knows what he is talking about, which is illustrated. Letter A, legitimate power. Letter B, expert power. Letter C, coercive power. Or letter D, referent power. What is our choice? Ganun talaga, Ma'am Ashley, di sumangkop, no? Kapag ako na yung nagbabasa, na, natatama nyo na po, no? Kapag dito sa discussion and it becomes interactive at kasama mo na yung inyong mga ka-team skinner, ay tama na yung inyong sagot, no? So sabi nga nila, sabi ng mga passers natin, kapag naririnig nyo yung boses ko, kapag nagsagot kayo sa inyong licensure exam for teachers, panigurado po, pasado. Okay, so iba yung inyong magiging interpretation ng question kapag nabasa na natin. Okay, number 6, ICBs. Okay, we've talked about this last time, di ba? Nung Friday, no? Napag-usapan natin ito, the different powers of a teacher inside the classroom. And so the correct choice here, of course, would be letter B, expert power. Now, this is the expert power, all right? Now, these right here are the different powers. When you say legitimate power, this is the formal power that comes from the seniority or authority of a person's role. As a teacher, you really have a power over your students, no? So this sometimes can be abused, no? Legitimate power can be abused. You can say minsan, no, sinasabi mo na ako pa rin yung guro, ako pa rin yung teacher dito, no? Na hawak ko pa rin yung ball pen. Magkita na lang tayo sa tip ng pen, no? Yan minsan yung panakot ng teacher. Okay? Now, reward power, this something is that is very positive. This is your power, your ability to give reward or to withhold reward for compliance and performance. Expert power, person's superior skill and knowledge of a subject matter. Hence, expert power is our answer. Referent power, ito po yung question natin last time, no? This is the power that is a result of a person being liked by others and others wanting to be like them, no? So when you make your students feel that they belong, that they are loved, that they are valued inside the classroom, then that will be referent power. Coercive power is a power that comes from the ability to compel others to comply. No? When you say coercion or coercive, tinithreaten mo yung isang tao. Okay? So letter B is tumpak for number 6. Number 7, Miss Rita is an excellent physical education teacher. She started teaching volleyball to her grade 2 class. Despite all her efforts, her class does not seem to learn how to play the game. What law of learning was disregarded? Letter A, law of disuse. Letter B, law of effect. Letter C, law of exercise. Or letter D, law of readiness. What's your choice? Okay, 7 ICDs. Letter D kaya ang tumpak for number 7? Okay, so again, make sure that you are watching us on Team Skinner if you are a member of Team Skinner. And if you want to watch the full-length video and download our file, become a member of Team Skinner now. Just send a message through our Facebook page. Okay, 7 letter D and that would be tumpak, no? So, hindi pa handa yung kanyang mga estudyante kasi nasa grade 2 pa lamang siya or pa lamang sila kahit na grabe yung effort, no? Todo yung effort ni Teacher Rita or Miss Rita, hindi pa rin makuha-kuha ng grade 2 students niya yung kanyang tinuturo, okay? Now, remember, these are the different laws of learning according to Thorndike, no? Excuse me. The first one is the law of effect. Emotional reaction of the learner. If the effect is positive, then we tend to repeat the behavior. No? Kapag ka binigyan siya ng reward, kapag ka na-praise siya, and so the student would tend to redo the behavior or redo the action. The law of exercise, this pertains to practice making something perfect. Now, practice makes perfect. If you practice and practice, or if you do something over and over, then you become better at it. Kaya tayo may drill, no, sa ating quizzes. Law of readiness, physical, mental, emotional state of the learner. Cold room would be or would give a negative learning experience. Also, law of readiness. Remember, may question din sa let na you can take a horse to the river, no, but you cannot force the horse to drink water. Okay, so kapag hindi pa talaga ready yung bata, might be because of age, hindi kaya na kanyang learning ability or mental ability, then hindi po natin mapipilit, no? So these are the different laws of learning. Thorndike's laws of learning. Now, what about the law of disuse? Sabi naman ng law of disuse, kapag ka hindi ginagamit, ay lumiliit. Kapag ka palaging ginagamit, ay lumalaki. Kaya dapat po palagi nyong ginagamit. Okay? So gamitin ang gamitin para lumaki. Sana po wag green-minded. Ang sinasabi ko po, gamitin ang gamitin, palaging gamitin ang inyong utak para lumaki yung utak, no? Para hindi po ito lumiit. Because according to the law of disuse, kapag ka hindi ginagamit, ay lumiliit. Nagiging vestigial, no? Vestigial structure katulad ng ating appendicitis or appendix, sorry. Appendix, no? Appendicitis is the disease, no, or the inflammation. Katulad ng ating appendix, no, kapag if there is a body part na hindi masyadong gamit, walang masyadong pakinabang, then lumiliit siya. Okay, so that's the law of disuse. Yan, sabi ni Sir Jean Almodovar, no? Very good. Under po ang law of disuse ng law of exercise. Okay? We go to the next item. Number 8, developmental tasks that usually occur during specific times in a child's life. What do you call this? Okay, letter A, newborn. Letter B, milestones. Letter C, parallel play. Or letter D, tantrums. Okay, what's your choice? These are developmental tasks that usually occur during specific times in a child's life. Okay, so this is part of the child's development. Okay, the tasks that would tell you that the child is well developed, no, or fully developed. Okay, I see a lot of letter B's, and of course, letter B is tumpak. Now, these are your milestones. So these right here are the different physical skill milestone. Now, for example, if your child is 2 months, he or she should be able to hold his head up when on tummy, moves both arms and both legs. Ngayon, medyo moderno na, medyo fast learner na yung mga bata. Kahit yung anak ko, yung bunso ko, no, may son, even when he was just born, he can already hold his head up. No? Medyo modern day na yung mga bata ngayon, advanced na sila. Your child at 6 months rolls from tummy to back. No? Your child at 15 months takes a few steps on his own, uses fingers to feed themselves some food. Your child at 2 years kicks a ball, runs, climbs, etc. Your child at 3 years strings items together like large beads. Okay, puts on some clothes by themselves. And your child at 4 years holds crayons or pencils between fingers and thumb, not using a fist. Okay? So this right here is a picture of the different milestones, no, sa inyo pong mga anak. Now, what about parallel play and tantrums? Of course, hindi na natin kailangan explain yung newborn. Newborn, that's a child that has just been born, no? But parallel play, this would be under the different types of play that we have. These are the different types of play of children. The first one is unoccupied, no? Walang masyadong attention na binibigay yung bata. Wala lang, nakatunga nga lang yung bata, no? That's unoccupied. Solitary, from the term itself, this means playing alone. Okay, so the child plays alone. Usually, if the child is young, solitary play pa yung ginagamit niya. Onlooker, the child who's just an audience. No? So, bystander lamang siya. Hindi siya yung naglalaro, na nanonood lamang siya. Then you have parallel play. Ito yung ating hinahanap kanina. No? Ito yung letter C natin. Parallel play, you have two kids who might be working on the same task, but they are not working together. No? Parehas lang yung activities nila, and they are working beside each other, but that they're not helping each other in any way. No? Walang association yung kanilang play. So that's parallel. They're just parallel to each other. No? Magkatabi lamang sila. Now, associative, eto na, no? They are working together, although hindi pa siya ganun kataas kaysa sa cooperative play, no? Pwedeng, there would be, sa associative play mo, no? There would be times that a child would play in solitary, and then after a few minutes, associative na naman sila, magkasama na naman sila, they might share the toys, no? Pwedeng maghiraman sila, but they don't really have the same goal, no? So parang semi-solitary and semi-cooperative siya. And of course, cooperative play is the highest, no? The highest type of play that can be found in children. Dito, nagtutulungan na sila, no? So here, you have a game of snakes and ladders. You're already playing together, no? Kung wala yung isa, maaring hindi makapag-play yung isa. That's cooperative play. Okay? So, but parallel play, wala po silang association with each other. They're just physically parallel to each other. Okay, and of course, you know what tantrums are. Choice D, yung umangawa yung bata, no? Usually sa malls, public places. This actually is a result of the child not being able to express himself or herself in a better way, no? So frustration ng bata kasi hindi siya aware ng different types of emotions at hindi pa niya alam kung paano i-handle yung kanyang mga emotions. And so as parents and as you might be teachers of young kids, you have to make them aware of the different types of emotions, and you have to teach them how to control their emotions. You have pwedeng ituruan mo sila na, okay, do not shout when you're frustrated, when you're angry. You can take deep breaths. You can count from 1 to 10. Okay, so until they can control their feelings. Okay, so this is tantrum. Tantrum naman po ito. All right, we go to number 9. Which of the following is used to measure the quantity and quality of learning? Assessment, letter A, of learning, letter B, for learning, letter C, as learning, or letter D, any of the three. Okay, what's your choice for number 9? Alin dito ang ginagamit natin to measure the quantity and quality of learning? Hello from Japan. 2022 passer here because of you and your team. Sir Carl Gaurano. Remember you, Sir Carl. Nasa Japan na pala si Nasa Japan na pala si Sir Carl. No? I hope I can visit you soon. Okay. Konnichiwa, Ohio, sir. Ayan na naman si Meow. Meron na naman ako nakikitang Meow. Asan na yung Meow? Sir Carl, kumusta po? Isa yata sa mga naunang teams natin, si Sir Carl, no? Mga unang batches natin. Okay, I see a lot of letter A, sabi ni Sir Toto KBL. Yung isa sa mga noisiest sa ating previous na batch, no, naghihintay na lamang ng kanilang results, Team Brunner. All right, for number 9, which one is used to measure the quantity quantity no, kung gaano kadami yung na-learn ng bata at gaano kaganda yung kanilang learning, na quality of learning. This would be assessment of learning. Okay? Not for learning. Hint po okay, wala pala dyan. Yung assessment of learning nyo is summative, no? Summative assessment. When you say summative assessment, makinig. When you say summative assessment, this is given after instruction sa mga big tests mo. This would be part of your assessment of learning, no? Your periodical test, fourth quarter test, grading test, no? Your this is part of your assessment of learning. Again, summative assessment po ito. Yung for learning mo, assessment for learning, makinig. Ito po yung inyong hint, no? For, it's formative learning. Remember, or formative instruction, formative assessment ito. Remember your formative assessment, this is done during instruction. And this usually is not recorded by the teacher, no? Ito din yung ginagamit ng teacher to influence his or her teaching. Should I reteach or should I proceed to the next topic? Okay, so that's formative assessment, your assessment for learning. And assessment as learning naman, ito yung hint nyo, the letter S, this is done by the students. Okay, so assessment as learning, done by the students. Ito yung metacognition ng students, learning about their learning, reflection, kumbaga, no, thinking about their thinking. And so the correct choice is of learning. Okay, ayun, sabi ni Ma'am Moraya, or recorded but not graded, no? So, usually, chine-check siya pero hindi siya nakalagay sa school record ng mga bata. Okay, so class record. All right, number 10. Planning for life-wide learning in the whole school curriculum essentially involves deciding which of the following. Letter A, structure of activities. Letter B, learning goals, aims, and objectives. Letter C, materials needed. Or letter D, activity duration. What is our choice? Sir or Ma'am Cheryl D. Mangaw Floor. Team Brunner here, excited for the result. Highly recommended ang Gurong Pinoy. Thank you po. Maraming salamat. And of course, we are looking forward to the results. Malapit na, no? Meron na naman tayong top-notchers. 100,000 for top 1 sa Team Brunner. And of course, sa Team Team Skinner, 300,000 na po sa top 1. Okay, number 10, ICBs, and that would be correct. No? So, life-wide learning, whole school curriculum, deciding which of the following, the learning goals, your aims, and your objectives. Okay, so letter B is tumpak. We go to question number 11, which theory operates on the stimulus-response principle, which means all behaviors are caused by external stimuli. Letter A, contextual theory. B, behaviorist theory. Letter C, cognitive theory. Or letter D, constructivist theory. Facebook user, hindi ka po visible. Ma'am Shane Valleser, Team Brunner, hoping for positive results. Thank you po, sabi ni Ma'am Shane. Good luck, of course. We believe and we know that you will all become licensed professional teachers very, very soon. Okay, number 11, what is our choice? What's your choice? Number 11?